paused it, so
All right. We're live. Good morning,
we're
everybody.
live.
Woohoo! Happy Thursday, friends.
Yes, what a beautiful day. We had a magnificent storm last night, and we have a beautiful lilac bush in our backyard, and everything, like there is nothing on our deck that is not a lilac flower this morning. It's so beautiful.
Oh, when you go out, do you just get lilac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because of the rain, everything's glistening, and it's just it's a pink inspired backyard. So beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Traci. Some of you watching live or on replay have met Traci in some prior podcast sessions. And for those of you that are meeting Traci perhaps for the first time, I'm thrilled. I've been so excited about today's session because Traci is going to be demonstrating a live soul reveal reading session. We have a brand new client backstage that Traci and the client have never met one another. So it's just going to be in real time. And I'm so excited. So thank you, Traci. You're just cool. And the client is cool. So
I'm glad you're excited because I've never done this live, and I don't hold back on what I've been asked to share, and I'm so nervous about what that person's cellular guides are going to share, because I want to keep it respectful that we're in public, but I also want to be able to demonstrate how incredibly powerful and life-altering this process is. Yeah.
Traci, would you be willing to give us a little bit of backstory about your work as a healer, as a shamanic guide, and a little bit about the soul reveal reading? For many of you here know that I've participated in this, and I, like many of you, have been on the spiritual path, a spiritual seeker path for decades. And my experience in the soul reveal reading was just so profound. It's shockingly amazing. So I'm just so excited to share this with you. And I know a little, and Traci, yeah, over to you.
Yeah, for sure. So, my name is Traci. I'm a doctor of metaphysical psychology. My spiritual path has been a roller coaster, to say the least. I started my adult life in the corporate world, and that ended in an abrupt diagnosis with depression that I was not willing to accept, and my physical body took me to places I never thought I would go. I followed Buddha's path for a very long time, and I started acknowledging and accepting my gifts of being a channel. So I'm a translator. My ability is to channel the frequency and the vibration of the human biofields. I literally read the cellular memory. I believe that your chakras are sacred guides that travel through every incarnation with your soul with very specific roles. And those guides provide me direction when I communicate in your biofield. As part of the work that I do, healing, it's focused entirely on psychic surgery. But the soul reveal reading itself is exactly that. It's a reading of your cellular memory. I have a process in which I bring your soul and your ego in alignment. So what happens is our soul and ego entangle. Our thoughts and our feelings become absorbed. And so I disentangle soul and ego so that you can feel, which is soul's energy, and so that you can think, which is ego's energy. And that beautiful space in between is your divine assignment. So soul navigates and ego navigates that divine assignment. I created the soul reveal reading because I discovered it. I thought I discovered it for myself as part of my channeling process. I have two very incredibly powerful guides that I am grateful for. And this process, in my experience, saved my life. Over the last 20 years, I've put all of the pieces together to become the human being user manual. So you learn about who you are, you heal the generational trauma and the disconnection from your true path. You grow into the human you're meant to be by walking through the 12 earth lessons, and you prosper by using this map that the human being user manual provides to you, that literally is a script for moving through any scene, situation, or scenario in which you don't feel mostly awesome. And so, as I said, for the last 20 years, I've been working this on my own for myself. And since 2015, I've been sharing these pieces with the world. And since 2020, internationally, online, thanks to Zoom. And so here we are with this three-part human being user manual method that allows you to remember who you are, know why you're here, and be that human that you came here to be. My belief is that we all come here to be part of a solution. Whether it's shadow or light, it doesn't matter, because they're equally as important. And so it's not the polarity that we're here to be, it's the wholeness that radically accepting all parts of our polarity is what we become. And the human being user manual gives all those tools. The soul reveal reading is the first part, and you're going to experience that today. Now, each reading is going to be different because it's uniquely about you. There are 22 traumas that are passed down from generation to generation. These are called the feared stories. Each of us have three, and I will share with our student today what theirs is. And each of us have three divine assignments. Each have a polar opposite. So the gender energy is how you manifest and create your reality uniquely to your cellular vibration. The second is your true energy. I call it your true path. It's the exact way that you use your energy to maintain your high frequency and vibration. And the third divine assignment is your navigation type, literally how you navigate the outside world and with whom. And so this is what we're going to do today. Gather those first parts of the human being user manual map so you know exactly what it looks and feels like when you're in alignment, and how that energy expresses as your generational trauma when you're not. And the other cool part about the generational trauma is it's the exact name of the shadow work that we're here to heal. And so many of us engage in shadow work, but we don't use its true name. And if we aren't using its rooted true name, we aren't actually healing it. And that's the important part, is to be able to heal
What I what I love about this is that if you think of human being user manual, if we saw that on the shelf in a bookstore, right, with 3 volumes, a box set, 3 volumes within it, it's like, oh yay, cool, like just what I've been waiting for. However, that version would be a one size fits all. What's different about this is that the human being user manual, the 3 parts, the 3 volumes in the box set, are unique to the individual. There's no map. Really, you're creating a map that by the time someone is 2/3 of the way through the process, they have their complete map of themselves. And that anytime you're experiencing suffering, you can whip out your map
Yeah.
and it shows you
Yeah.
what's off and your solution, for a lack of a better word. So
Yeah.
there isn't a one size fits all human being user manual. There can be general
Mm-hmm.
um, suggestions and invitations, and many pathways do that. And what's unique about this is that it's designed for the individual.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm a participant in many of the other systems. I love knowing all of the mystical ways that were put together. The challenge with all of those ways, and for 20 years, I've been looking for something else that does this. All of the ways provide you information, which is only one part of the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel requires that we learn, we heal, we grow, and we prosper. And so I haven't found any other system that completes the medicine wheel. There are many amazing systems that complete a quadrant of the medicine wheel. But Human Being User Manual is all of it, because it's an internalized assignment, a message from your higher self, and the exact way how to stay on that true path, which also then provides all of the Earth School lessons that we're here to learn, and lifetime of support. And so it's hard to say because of it's mine. So of course I think it's amazing. I wouldn't have spent 20 years doing it. But every now and then, and especially when a client or a patient comes to me, and they think it's hopeless, and in a moment of judgment, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. And then we do the work, and it's like, oh my, like I still sit in like, oh wow, this is crazy awesome. And it's, here's a great point, and you and I kind of joked about this a little bit last night. I love my husband, and he is my solid rock and my complete opposite, but he is not into anything that I do. And like jokingly around with him last night, Daniela and Chris and I were together, and Fred came in, and I was like, hey babe, do you want to do your Human Being User Manual? And my husband's 6'5", 400 pounds. He's like a gigantic linebacker, and he tilts his head, he rolls his eyes, and his whole body went. And I was like, well, the funny thing is, I've already done your Human Being User Manual, and I navigate you. That's why you're so in love with me, is because I navigate you the way you need to be spoken to and treated and loved and seen. And the most important person to treat you, to love you, to see you has to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be you. And this is what this gives you, the mirror of why you chose to come here.
I know I had a question, but it just went out because I just went into the swoony feeling. So I have no great follow-up interviewer question because I'm just of my soul.
Well, let's get my nervous jitters out, and let's meet our very, very brave, very, very brave guest. And my intention is to do as much of what I would do in a regular session. So I'm going to maybe say or do some things that you're going to be like, I'm going to ask, for example, permission to record this. Our audience will be like, of course it's being recorded. But that's an important process when we do the reading, to have permission to do that. Okay?
And I did let our friend know that if for any reason there was something that came up that was just your instinct was, this is sensitive and I'd rather discuss that on a follow-up, that's already been established.
Yes, absolutely. And I have made time to do that privately. So that's perfect. Right. Okay, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Here comes our friend.
Hi.
Hi, Raina. Welcome to your Soul Reveal reading. I'm Traci. I'm really excited to have you here. And I want to say how I don't know, in awe I am of you to be so brave to do this. I'm so grateful. So thank you. Starting right now, I'm going to act as though you booked this appointment and that this is exactly what we're going to experience. So we'll do this really quickly. Raina, I'm Traci. I'm going to ask you not to introduce yourself. I want to know as little about you as possible before the reading, but afterwards there will be time for you to share anything personal or to ask any specific questions. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Beautiful. I am going to do a little bit of administration. These questions require the simplest answer. I'm just trying to get energy out of our way so we can do this as quickly as possible. So my first question is, will you please share with me your full name?
Catherine Raina Elkins.
Beautiful. I did write down your date of birth because I didn't want you sharing it publicly, but I will ask you to think it and kind of project it from your heart just so I can connect to it. Please share from your heart your birth date. Beautiful. Thank you. I use your name and your birth date to connect to your timeline and your Akashic record, and that's how I know I'm attuned to you. My next question is not social, so please let me explain it in full. Then I'll ask it again and you can answer yes or no. I'm going to ask you if you're in an intimate love relationship. This is not about the quality of the relationship. I'm asking if you're married, if you live with someone, if you sleep beside them. Just need to move their energy out of your influence so that I'm connecting directly to you. Are you in an intimate love relationship?
No.
Do you have any biological children?
No.
And whereabouts do you live?
I live in Hector, New York.
And are you at home right now?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. My next two questions are because I'm nosy. Did you get a chance to watch the Divine Assignment video?
No.
Okay. So there may be some things that I'm going to talk about today that you don't necessarily understand. The Divine Assignment video is a 38-minute video, and the masterclass is 90 minutes. So we just don't have time today to go to all of those, but you do have them in your Soul Reveal reading container, and you will have them for life. So they will always be a reference. Plus, you will have, if you give me permission, a video of this session. May I please have permission to record this for you?
Yes.
Beautiful. That video will be sent to you at the end of this session. Without sharing anything personal, and this is our last question, what would you like out of our session? I'm going to give you what you need, but I also want you to feel like you're going to receive what you wanted. So very little detail. Why did you agree to this session?
To receive clarity and guidance on my next steps.
Beautiful. That's exactly what we're going to do today. And I would like to say this just because we are doing a public demonstration. Almost everyone for the last 10 years has wanted clarity. And so that's my purpose going into your bioenergetic field, to get the clearest, most important messages. All right. So what we're going to do is rather simple. We don't need to overthink it or overdo it. I am going to ask permission in just a few moments to come into your bioenergetic field. I will require an out loud yes, but there's no rush for you to give that to me. I'm going to ask you to make space between root and crown. So if your ankles and your knees are locked over one another, you're going to just unlock them. If you're sitting cross-legged, that's perfectly fine. But if you're chair style, your legs are open. Raina, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, but if that is not comfortable, it is not necessary. My eyes are going to be closed unless I'm taking notes. And so I'm not even going to be looking at you or for you in this physical form. If you get distracted or anything happens, it's not going to distract me. So just deal whatever you have to deal with and then just come back when you're ready. Okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Your eyes are closed. You're giving yourself permission to be present in the moment. Connecting to your breath, 3 deep, gentle inhalations in and out of the nose, if at all possible. Wonderful. Raina, may I please have permission to come into your bioenergetic field?
Yes.
We'll be in silence for the next few minutes. Your only responsibility is to breathe. Right now, with your eyes closed, you're going to move your body in any way that you need to release my energy from yours. Taking your time, there's no rush. I'm going to take some notes so you can let me know when you're ready to engage.
Okay.
Okay, I will be right with you. Okay, so there are a couple things that often come up in this session that I do go into full detail with the person. I don't want to do it today because I don't want someone to have a soul reveal reading and feel like, oh, that didn't happen in my session, because it doesn't happen often. So there is something we are going to want to talk about, which I'm happy to do that today or tomorrow, to make time to do that today or tomorrow. It's, in my opinion, very exciting. It's just not part of the soul reveal reading, but it's going to explain a few things. I just don't want to create confusion. One of the really cool things that happened, which also doesn't happen very often, is the first thing I do when I go into someone's bioenergetic field is I check for entities, attachments, and non-beneficial energies. There's nothing to be in judgment of. That's how this third dimension works, but you didn't have any. So I didn't have to do that work, which is awesome. So if you do that work, you're doing a great job. I can't imagine that you don't do that work in some way, because that was really nice and easy for me. So that was beautiful. Thank you. The first thing that I like to share is that we each have within us sacred guides. This has nothing to do with an external guide. Many work to find those guides. I want you to imagine that this is part of our chakra system. Do you know what the chakras are?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to shift your awareness from what are the chakras to who are the chakras. These are our sacred guides. They travel with every incarnation of our soul, in every lifetime, in every dimension, and they have a very specific job here in Earth energy, which is to communicate through the body, our first language, which is energy. So soul communicates through the body to ego, ego communicates through the body to soul. And we each have two very sacred guides. I will not be able to share their name. That's only unique to their soul. They would never share that with anyone but their own soul. It's a sacred relationship. So I'm going to share with you their job description. The first is self. Its purpose is to let you know when you're not in alignment with your highest good. You are not taking care of yourself. There are blocks to your self-love. And for you, this is going to appear at your heart chakra. So from your clavicle to your sternum, all of that skin around your body, but also your arms, your elbows, wrists, fingers. It's going to include your breast and your shoulder blades. It's going to include your lungs, your heart, and your thoracic spine. These are all the ways that your body is going to say you are not in alignment with your truth, with your highest good. And today, I'm going to share with you what your truth is, which is going to make it a lot easier. One of the challenges that we're going to talk about when we get to your divine assignments is the way in which you've been using your heart energy in the past has been taking you a little bit out of alignment. Well, I'm going to be honest. It's been taking you out of alignment, the way that you've been using your heart energy in the past. So we're going to shift that today. I did a little bit of psychic surgery and just move some of the things that you've been placing in self to where they're supposed to be. And I'll share where that is in a moment. Do you have any questions, concerns, or ideas about heart as the chakra that leads self without sharing anything personal?
No.
Beautiful. Your second guide, I call other. Its purpose is literally, and not so gently, to tell you to mind your own business. It's letting you know that you're out of alignment because you're in other people's thoughts, feelings, experiences, and expectations of you. For you, this is that sacral chakra. So from the belly button to the pubic bone, that band of skin all around the body, this is going to include your upper reproductive, your lower digestive. It's going to include that extra belly weight we often carry around, especially if we have sacral energy. It's going to include your sacrum, your psoas, your lumbar spine. These are all the ways that you're going to get information that you're not in alignment because you're in other people's energy. What do these messages look and feel like? They're itchy, scratchy, throbby, burny, tingly, numb. I call these an annoyance. The annoyance is the initial message, and it's the one that we want to pay the most amount of attention to because over time, because as human beings we do exist in space and time, over time that will become pain, then dysfunction, and then disease. And so it's really important that we're paying attention immediately. And here's the cool part. Paying attention simply means acknowledgement. I'm out of alignment because I'm not minding my own business. Does this make sense for you?
Absolutely.
Any questions about sacral without sharing anything personal?
No.
Okay, beautiful. This does not negate that all of the other chakras are also going to be providing messages, but they're in the moment messages. These two guides know everything about who you truly are.
Okay.
So let's start with our divine assignment pieces. In the container soul reveal reading, you were given a series of videos to explain exactly what these pieces are. So I'm not going to go into great detail, except that there are 3 of them. The first divine assignment is the energy that we create intentionally in order to manifest our reality. So if you're not in alignment with this divine assignment, it doesn't mean that you can't manifest something. It means that consistent full manifestation isn't going to take place. And this one divine assignment is particularly important to you because you're in a space called chameleon. Chameleon means being who other people need you to be to survive. And so in this first divine assignment, which is called our gender energy, this has nothing to do with the way gender has been corrupted. It has nothing to do with man or woman. It has nothing to do with masculine or feminine. It's male and female. The only thing that male and man have in common is that they're seed planters. The only thing that female and woman have in common is that they're seed carriers. Raina, you're male energy, which means that you're task oriented. You're here to learn as much as possible and share it. Learn, share, learn, share, learn, share. You're not here to be female energy, which is mission oriented. Female energy learns, they process and integrate. They then create something unique to them, and then they share that with the world. And so if we want to understand where the corruption came from, the man plants his seed and goes off and does whatever he wants to do. The woman takes that seed, carries it to maturity, and then raises it for the rest of its life. You are male energy. And this is going to be really important when I share with you the exciting information because it's going to show you how to do that. And I can't contain myself. I have no self-control. I need to tell you what that was, but I want everyone to know that this doesn't happen in many situations. Raina, do you know what a channel is?
Yep.
Do you know that you are a channel?
Um, yeah, there's a bit of resonance with that, I would say.
Okay. I'm going to quickly go into this part because it is important, but I will share in more detail with you as we meet one-on-one. There are 4 types of channel: a psychic, a medium, a translator, and a shaman. The commonality for all of them is that you naturally have the ability to read the frequency and vibration. Psychics read the frequency and vibration of the timeline. Mediums read the frequency and vibration of a soul who's no longer with us. Translators read the frequency and vibration of other beings. And the shaman does all of that, but they use a conduit, a spirit guide, a plant, or something in nature. We'll go through that in more detail, but what's important and why I did end up needing to share it with you is that when you pretend that you're female energy, you have to learn something and then you have to spend time processing and get all confident that everything's perfect before you make something to share. Your channel ability is gone. You're blocking it. You're avoiding, ignoring, and escaping it. You get the message. You get permission in the message to share it, and then you share the message. That's part of your purposefulness. When you sit in it too long and do all of that processing, which I'm not saying there's no processing for male energy, but it's more of an aha moment than it is a whole integration process. Because right now, Raina, you're really getting stuck in the figuring it out process. Does that make sense for you?
Yep.
Okay, so you are male energy. Learn, share. Learn, share. One of the cool things that I feel will resonate with you is those of us who are, I'm also male energy, those of us who are male energy and are avid readers tend to have books everywhere that we started, but we haven't finished. And I'm saying that because I can see all the books behind you, and it's an exciting factor and realization because this will change everything. You get a book because there is a single piece of information or a process of information that you need to know. You are very, very unlikely to read a whole book. So that stack of books by your bedside table, you're not going to go back to them. So put them on the shelf. You got what you needed, be grateful, and then just accumulate all those tools so that when you need them, you're ready to use them. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
And if I could show you my bookshelf, it's basically this whole wall. And so I understand how that works. Okay. Your second divine assignment is called your true energy type. Mysticism calls it our true energy type. I'm changing it to be called our true path. When you're in alignment with your truth and you're on the right for you path, you're collecting the right tools at exactly the right time, through the right experiences, and you're taking the right action for you. When you're not in alignment, you're collecting the wrong tools at the wrong place at the wrong time. The story I like to use is slaying the monster. If you're on the wrong path, you are collecting tools like a spoon, like, oh yeah, I'm going to feed the world. You get to the end of your path and you have to slay a dragon with a spoon because you were on the, please don't slay a dragon, ever. It was a matter of speech. But you'll have the wrong tools. And so this is really an important piece of information. The true energy type is masculine or feminine. Those of us born in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s knew when we came here that we may not ever experience the ascension to 5 dimension, but we wanted to be part of the foundation of creating it. And so we very specifically chose masculine or feminine because there was too much work here to do on planet Earth for the wholeness to come together. And so those of us that chose masculine are moving swiftly, assertive in nature, and taking action. Those of us who are feminine moved slowly, very nurturing, and became allowing, so that when we met, all of the tools were together and we becoming whole. Those born in the 90s and beyond have more flexibility in what this path means because they came knowing that they would be part of the fifth dimensional ascension. You are masculine energy. This is really important, and I don't want to say that you chameleon here, but you've been doing a lot of work energetically and intellectually, actually, so that part's good. You've been doing a lot of work energetically and intellectually to be more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great, but that's the outside world's rule. So I'm going to do feminine energy first, just so that you recognize in the places where you want to stop getting off of your true path to be who others think you should be. Feminine energy is slow moving. They must feel things through before they can reason them out. They are very nurturing of themselves and others when they're in alignment, but they don't need any risk in order to thrive. And they create by allowing. It's essential that they are in the present moment. And I know a lot of new age gurus say we all need to be in the present moment. That's awesome, except we live on a planet of polarity. If we're all in the present moment, who's collecting information from the past and the future and creating a vision? Well, I'll tell you who. Masculine energy. Your purpose on this planet is to move so quickly into the past to gather information, to go so quickly into the future to gather information, and to not make the same, and if we were in private, I'd say bad word right now, to not make the same swear word mistakes over and over. That's how we recognize the pattern. And so as masculine energy, your superpower is to move quickly. You can literally move thoughts, feelings, experiences, and time. And you do that for other people. But you have to do that for you. You can't stay stuck in the past. That's going to be anger, and it will feel like depression. If you go too far into the future, that's anxiety, and it's worry, and it's going to present as anxiety. And so you need to be in motion all of the time as masculine energy. In particular, physical and mental. Your superpower is your intellect. If you think it through, you can then feel it and be in it. But if you don't reason it out first, this is going to be chaos. And especially because heart is your sacred self guide. If you haven't thought it through, this becomes the most chaotic space ever because you're not in alignment with your truth. As masculine energy, you also require an element of risk. That means action, adventure. The challenge with that and chameleoning as your female energy, which is your first divine assignment, is that you say yes to things that you know in your heart you probably shouldn't have said yes to. And so what happens is when you engage in that and you're like, oh, I'm not passionate about this, you check out. And you either check out but stay physically, which hurts you, or you check out and just wander off, and that hurts them. And so in masculine energy, you're moving so quickly that you're consciously aware of what is and is not worthy of your passion and your adventure. but you are also a doer. It means that you take action. You have to take action. You can't allow or hope or mantra your way into anything. You have to think about what the next step is and step into it. Does masculine energy make sense for you?
Yeah.
This is very important, and we'll explain this more when we get into your generational trauma, but it's this energy of moving quickly that your channeling gift is going to activate in. Okay. Our third fear story, that's not true. Our third divine assignment is our navigation type. There are 5. The giver, the taker, the egalitarian, the parent, and the child energy. We choose who we're going to be to help guide us to stay in alignment, but also to attract to us our equals and our opposites. Not everyone on the planet is for us. And we knew coming to this space and time that there would be billions of us. Not everyone is for you. And so I'm going to do a quick description, and I want you to think about who you are. I don't want you to share it with me, but I want you to come up with who you think you are and then explain that. And so here we go. The giver is a nurturer. Their purpose on this planet is to take care of everyone else. And when they're in alignment, they take care of themselves first. The taker is the leader. When they're in alignment, they're a visionary. They see the big picture and how all of the small details could come together. The egalitarian is the equalizer. Their purpose on this planet, when they're in alignment, is to maintain balance, fairness, equality, and justice. Parent energy is the teacher. When they're in alignment, their purpose is not doing it for others, but teaching others how to do it for themselves. And finally, the child energy. They're the entertainers. Their purpose on this planet is to remind us that being earthbound is supposed to be fun. Given those really simplistic definitions, and without sharing it out loud, who do you think you are? Let me know when you have it.
Okay.
Okay. How many were there?
I picked all of them.
No, you did. And I'm grateful. And I love that my gift said, ask this question. Raina, this is chameleon.
Got it.
You become whoever you need to survive. You become who they need you to do. And this is a really important part of your channeling gift. You are actually really good, and it is a gift to chameleon because you can become who they need you to be in the moment. The challenge is you get stuck there, so you're not in alignment. What we want to be able to do is master our true navigation type, and then as channels or energy workers or in-service people, we then become who they need us to be in the moment through our language, through our energy, but we don't do that at our own detriment. Okay? You are egalitarian. It's also why you chameleon into all of them, because egalitarian is swear word hard. There is nothing about human being that's fair, equal, or just. And so, and this is almost always true, but this is true for you. Between the ages of 0 and 7, you weren't allowed to be an egalitarian. Nothing was fair, equal, or just. It was hard. And so you realized really quickly that if you were who they need you to be, it felt easier. Let me say that again. It felt easier. That's chameleoning is feminine. You knew it wasn't. That's your masculine energy, but you felt like it could be. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So egalitarian all of the navigation types have a whole page of in and out of alignment information that is in your portal and will be part of the homework that I prescribe to you should you choose to do it. One of the challenging things for egalitarian is how life is different for you. The rest of us, we each have an equal and ideal intimate love partner. Cancel that, an opposite, our ideal intimate love partner, an equal, our best friend or co-creator. You, however, have nemesis. We each have a single nemesis. So, for example, I'm taker. My ideal intimate love partner is giver. My best friend co-creator is parent. My nemesis is child. For you, we're all your nemesis. Givers give too much. That's annoying. Takers take too much. That's annoying. Parent energy is too controlling. That's annoying. Child energy has no control. That's annoying. And so as you feel annoyed with the world, know that it's because you're not in alignment with your truth and you're trying to be who they need you to be.
Okay.
Okay? Egalitarian. So let's do a quick summary. You are male, masculine, egalitarian. It means that you chose Raina's timeline to learn and to share, to gather information and to make sure it's available for everyone. As masculine energy, you do that swiftly. You move in and out of the present moment. You act through passion, action, and adventure. You think things through before you feel them. And as egalitarian, you are here as an equalizer. You're meant to maintain fairness, equality, and justice. It likely means that you find yourself in threes or in fives or singular. So you're on your own, you're in a group of three, or you're in a group of five, because you are always going to be that balancing factor.
Okay.
One of the things I missed about masculine energy that I just got pushed at is that you require movement. Masculine energy requires physical and intellectual movement. When your body isn't moving, your mind will stagnate. When your mind isn't moving, your body's going to feel heavy and get exhausted and overwhelmed. That's another important point.
Okay.
Without sharing anything personal, do you have any questions, concerns, or ideas about being male, masculine, egalitarian?
Probably things coming up right now.
Okay, good. We'll have time to ask questions, and I will share with you at the end that there is the opportunity for an additional integration call beyond the private meeting I'd like to have with you.
Okay.
All right. So why don't we already know this? Well, I want you to imagine that many, many generations ago, the grandparents stopped teaching the grandchildren how to commune with Mother Earth and with cosmic intelligence. And we started carrying generations of baggage, not unhealed thoughts, feelings, and experiences passed down from generation to generation. What I'm going to share with you right now is the exact name, the frequency, and the vibration of your maternal trauma. That's 5 to 7 generations carried in the egg, and your paternal trauma, 5 to 7 generations carried in the sperm, but also your own womb trauma, the assumptions that you made as you started to become an intellectualized being.
Okay.
A little later today, I'm going to send you a document, and it has 2 columns. In the first column, it's going to have your first divine assignment, your second divine assignment, and your third divine assignment. Directly across, it's going to have your first fear story, your second fear story, and your third fear story. This is relevant. This is the beginning of your human being user manual. When you are experiencing your first fear story, its purpose isn't to punish you. Its purpose is to tell you that you're not in alignment with your first divine assignment. Same with second, same with third. And so all of a sudden, if you don't feel mostly awesome, there isn't a billion possibilities out there. There's 3. Which of your fear stories have activated? Oh, it's my second. Okay, then you're out of alignment with your second divine assignment. Take action now before your body starts carrying that additional trauma. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start with your biological mother's trauma. This is the baggage carried unhealed from generation to generation. When your great grandmother was born, the second she was born, inside of her was an egg that was going to be your grandmother. Around that, an ovum that is your mother, and cells that are you. You have literally been created from their negative polarity, which is their cellular memory. Your maternal trauma, and this is true for everyone, is your first fear story. The story that is generalized is the evidence that it's hard to be human. And for you, this is called rejection. The metaphysical psychological definition is available in your container, but I do in all classes read it out so that if you have any questions, we can work through it. This is what has been the trauma through your maternal line and what affects you when you're not in alignment with your male energy. Rejection is the belief that there's actual evidence that you're going to be denied as a part of a scene, situation, or scenario. It's a form of dismissive energy. You become worried that you're being dismissed, or you dismiss others as protection of yourself. It plays out in three ways. You don't fit in, you don't belong, or you're not accepted. One, you don't fit in. You feel that you don't fit in. You are creating and maintaining a perceived state of self-judgment. You believe that you're not the same as others, there's something too different, and you regard that as negative. Two, you do not belong. You feel alienated and powerless. You believe that you will not be included, so you're not. You detach from your surroundings and you become isolated and alone. Three, you're not accepting. You're unable to come to a state of self-acceptance. There's a subconscious belief that you're just not allowed to be who you know you are at your core. And this has created habits of avoiding, ignoring, and escaping. Do you understand rejection?
Yep.
Paying attention to any moment in which you can say, I don't feel mostly awesome. What is it? That's rejection. I'm not in alignment with my male energy. I'm processing this bullshit. I'm trying to create a different way to do the same thing. And then I'm sharing that this is who I am with the world. And that's not true. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions, concerns, or ideas about rejection without sharing anything personal?
No.
Beautiful. Your second fear story is passed down from your biological father's side of the family.
Okay.
For everyone, this is the evidence that we're alone and unprotected. And this is the main reason that I wanted to share with you publicly that you're a channel, because I wanted to be able to explain it here. You hold in your cellular trauma a lot of physical abuse energy. So there are generations on your biological father's side of physical abuse. And it's this physical abuse that literally makes you afraid of being a channel, like you're going to be punished in some way. Thank you. Your father's mother and father were both channels, and it caused a lot of physical pain and suffering for them. And your father's grandfather and great grandfather were both very powerful channels. And their lives were not easy. And so there is in your cellular memory this bullshit story that you will be punished for being your true and authentic self. Does that make sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you get your portal open to the next module, I would like you to look at the physical abuse definition so that you can understand it in greater detail in this context. So the true name of your paternal trauma is called grief and loss. Its metaphysical psychological definition. Grief is a deep, often unexplainable sense of loss of self. It's a physically painful belief that something is always missing. It's often accompanied by an irrational or an unknown cause of sadness that has no sensation of relief in sight. Without an awareness, you can feel this all of the time, and it leads you to constantly searching for something that's missing outside of yourself as opposed to internally. Okay? Any questions, concerns, or ideas about physical abuse causing sadness, grief, and a perceived sense of loss of self without sharing anything personal?
No.
Okay. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to get you to bring your shoulders up to your ears and then just lean forward so that you're activating the back, you're rolling your back, and you're taking whatever that is behind your shoulder blades and you're just letting it go.
Okay.
All right. Our third fear story is our womb trauma. This is the belief for everyone that we're bad. I want you to imagine this is your kryptonite. This is what takes you out at the knees every chance it gets. Its name is control. Bum, bum, bum. I know. I love my job. All right. Control is not necessarily what we think it is. It's a 4-part cyclical process that we get caught in. And I know, like, watch my finger. You can't even see it, right? We get caught in this process. Control is a programmed flow of experiences. It compels you to become overbearing, overwhelmed, and fixated by everything having to go a certain way. You can have a need to control yourself, to control others, or yourself and others at the same time. This looping program can start in any one of these 4 places at any given time. So knowing what this loop is really important for you to catch it, because it's telling you you're not in alignment with egalitarian. Of course you feel like you can't control anything because you're trying to be something, someone that you're not. So the first, and I'm just calling this the first place because we have to start somewhere. You feel like you have no control, and this becomes very physically uncomfortable. You believe you have to fix everything. You're the one that's responsible for solving it. This leads to a deep state of frustration because these patterns don't seem to make sense and they never end. And then you become defensive, as though you're being controlled, and then you attract more of that energy. Do you understand control?
Yep.
Beautiful. Without any judgment, you're going to open your heart, which is where all of that information that you're not in alignment with your true self is just going to be unlocked and released. And we get to start all over today. Brand new day. Brand new day. Beautiful. Okay. When you are not in male energy, rejection is going to express, not as a punishment, but as a best friend. Asking you, what the hell are you doing here with these people, these places, these things, these scenes, situations, or scenarios? When you experience that physical abuse energy and becomes grief, you're not in alignment with your masculine energy. And when you experience control, you're not in alignment with egalitarian. So your only responsibility, and the gift that I'm giving you as the first part of this map, is the conscious awareness of all you need to know is if you don't feel mostly awesome to whatever degree, It's one of three things asking you to get back into alignment. Is it rejection? Is it physical abuse causing grief? Is it control? And the second that you're able to do the gigantic work, which is, oh, it's control. I'm not in alignment with egalitarian. I need to be the balance in this situation. It's that easy. This is the work. Acknowledgement is the work. Raina, do you have any questions, concerns, or ideas? Anything that you would like to share personally to help me guide you on this journey? And what I would like to say here is I am more than happy to do this process in private, but this would be the next step. But if you want to do it now, I'm happy to do that. And before I ask you that again, please know that you're going to get a gigantic email from me today. I just can't make things little, never going to happen. It's going to include the video of this session. It's going to provide you the document of everything we shared. It's going to unlock the new modules where your homework exists and all of the definitions of everything I shared will be. It's also going to invite you to my private Facebook group called the Human Being User Manual, where every week, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I do a 1-hour lesson from your soul reveal reading, teaching you how to better embody this information. And then you're going to be invited to an integration call. When you've done the homework, if you have additional questions, I'm going to ask you to gather in a small group or never more than 6 people. And in that group, I'll do a small lesson on the full Human Being User Manual. I'll have everyone ask questions and we'll answer them where the collective gets exactly what they need. And then I'll share with you the ways we can continue to work together, finishing the rest of your Human Being User Manual and learning the lessons of Earth School. Any questions, concerns, or ideas, anything that you need from me today that you don't feel like you received?
I feel pretty that was a lot. And at the same time, I felt like it really honed in on where I needed to focus in a way that I really haven't experienced before. Specifically, I do have a question about the grief and the physical. And I know you said it's in your videos, but can you just speak a little bit about like when you get that information, like what are you doing with it? I get it on a big concept, but how does it show up specifically?
Yeah. So I'm going to go a little tiny bit through physical abuse. So physical abuse is when harm and suffering is caused on purpose. You're doing it or someone is doing it and you're experiencing it. At the lowest degree, it's often covered up by humor. Everyone around the victim feels like it's funny, but the victim does not feel like it's funny. It's abuse. It also it is a fear of being restrained or held down or pinched even causes that visceral grief to flood your body. At the medium, it's an intention. It can be slapping, punching, spanking. At an extreme, it's actually physical abuse as we know it as a social definition. But I want you to imagine that it's experienced as masculine, aggressive, and controlling energy. So you'll experience it or you'll become it. So when you become that physical abuse energy, you well up with grief. You may have in the past called it guilt, but it's not guilt. It's literally physical pain in the body. You can do it to yourself. You can do it to others. Others can do it to you. Okay. And so what happens, let's say that you're out with your family members and someone says something off the cuff that everyone else thinks is funny, but it's degrading you. And in that moment, you take it personally. It literally is like a punch to the heart. And the grief goes like a wave in a pond. And it moves through your body. And in that moment, you freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And you start going into that feminine energy. You start learning, oh, I've learned all the ways that these patterns happen and that person does that to me every time. And then you go into processing. You know what I would have said? You know what I should have said? You know what I'm going to do next time? And you create this whole plot of how next time it's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, you get the courage to say something. Well, it's 15 minutes later, and you say, yeah, you know what, Dan? That doesn't even bother me anymore. And then all of a sudden, you've shared with everyone your pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in that moment where you're like, oh, whoa, this is that physical abuse causing grief, you ground yourself in the moment. You've learned that that's not your truth. And you just walk away because his opinion doesn't matter. And everyone's like, what's wrong with Raina? She didn't even freak out. That's a great example. And it's that split second of, oh man, I don't feel good. What is it? Is it rejection? And in that particular case, it could have been rejection. It could have been physical abuse with grief, and it could have been control all at the same time. So you need to speed things up, your thoughts, your experiences. You need to be present in the moment. You need to take some sort of action, which is like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go over here and get myself a bonbon because I'm not going to deal with his shit anymore.
Okay.
But it's all about you now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's really beautiful. Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any questions, concerns, or ideas? Anything that you need from me that you don't feel like you received?
No.
Okay, beautiful. I will get that package out to you later today. And as always, whether you decide to work with me or not, today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, if you have any questions, you'll email me at traci@tracitrimble.ca. You'll give me your first name, last name, date of birth, and your specific questions. And I will respond not only from my expertise, but I'll go back into your biofield and find out what that question really means to you and what that answer needs to look and feel like.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for your courage. Like that was I'm in awe of you. Thank you for your courage in doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's so incredible. I feel like completely different just sitting here.
Cool. And you said earlier that it's a lot. It's why we record it.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is it's not even a quarter of what is coming. It's just the smallest, most usable piece. Someone with their soul reveal reading willing to do this work can change their lives in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, you can be a completely different person. You have your whole human being user manual, completely different life. So amazing.
It's incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, cool.
Hi, Raina.
Hi, honey.
I was so excited for you too, Traci. Oh my gosh. Traci, Raina is one of my besties. We've known each other. Well, Raina was the date, like when we met. So
May 19th, 2015.
Well, the funny part was when we decided that we were going to do this, I was like, who would do this? Like, who, it has to be someone I don't know because I want to read your truth. If I know something about you, I'm going to take it and unfeather it. And so it has to be someone I don't know. How do we get someone I don't, and I didn't even get the sentence out. Danielle's like, oh, I know who would do this. It's like, thank you.
Yeah, I felt totally compelled to do it. So
good.
Amazing.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. I would like to put out to the community, do you have any questions, concerns, ideas, anything that you need to know? This was obviously very specific to Raina, but the components and the language that I try to use are very consistent. Especially what happens often is this runs through a family. So usually the wife does it, and then she wants her husband to do it, and then if her kids are over a certain age, the kids do it. And so I want it to be as close and consistent as possible, but also sharing very specific and unique information. So it's such a, and it's, I know it's me saying that my own stuff is awesome, which like doesn't ground me very much, but this changed my life. I was a executive in the alcoholic beverage industry. I was a gold star narcissist. All that mattered to me was making money. I was the exact pendulum opposite of who I was meant to be here on. I didn't start channeling until my mid to late 30s. And it is why I'm here. This isn't mine. I didn't create this. I earned this through the trust of my channels, the Archangel Uriel and the goddess Ma'at. Like, these pieces were gifted to me because I did the work. And so it's just, it's magical to see how with Christopher and Daniela's help, I'm putting it into I am not a simplistic. Everything has to be big and exciting and noisy and masculine and yeah. And so Daniela and Christopher have helped me get it into a really tight, concise package that isn't going to be too overwhelming, but some of it has to be because we've got to get out of our own way. We really, truly have to get out of our own way. Yeah.
Okay, so just want to let everyone know that's here. If you scroll back, I've posted the link a few times. If you'd like to connect with Traci to experience a soul reveal read for yourself, the link is there. If you are here and you are a paid member in Astara, there's a really significant discount. So if you just go to membership, Christopher reposted, it's the first post in membership, how to use that discount code. Okay. So that.
I see that Michelle's asking if she can book her husband through membership too. Absolutely. It's your link. Yeah, it's your link.
A couple of fabulous questions here.
Okay, cool.
Let me rewind.
I'm going to get to Holly while you're finding those. So Holly, could this help with unexplained health issues? 1000%. Our health issues are spiritual disconnection manifested into physical form. The Hermetic laws say that as below, which is our physical experience, must match our as above, which is our spiritual experience. So when you intuitively go out of alignment with your divine assignment, it's your physical body that's communicating with you. I said to Raina a little earlier when I talked to her about her chakra guides is it starts out first as an annoyance. You could have had that annoyance 35 years ago and not recognized it. And 10 years later, it turns into a pain and you just suffer through the pain because that's what we do as human beings. And then you got a diagnosis. And so all of a sudden you resign to that diagnosis and that becomes what you have and who you are. And then all of a sudden that's a disease. Well, we can back that out with psychic surgery, but also with this awareness, because if you have a physical ailment and you activate the emotion that's locking it into the chakra that it's poisoned, you can then intellectually release the false belief and then intuitively connect back to your spiritual truth. So when we're spiritually disconnected, we get uninspired, we self-sabotage, we render ourselves incapable of doing our own work and asking for help. And then we experience depression, anxiety, acute stress, chronic pain, disease, and dysfunction. So 1000%, this is the work that would have to be done to permanently eliminate the root of any trauma. part of this process, so what we did today, the soul reveal reading, is a 3-part process of what's called the Human Being User Manual. So we do the soul reveal, so we know what our divine assignment and our fear stories are. But then we do discover authentic self. We literally channel the name of your power and your trigger. So this is your positive and negative polarity, what you're here to learn and how you're here to learn it. But then we do this incredible, powerful exercise with ego that aligns your love stories. And so you have this full map. You know who your true self is by your power and your trigger. You know that when you're not in alignment with your divine assignment, your fear stories activate. But when you are in alignment, you're living in your love stories. So this full map, which is called the Human Being User Manual, in any given moment, you don't feel awesome. You know exactly what's triggered you. You know what emotion or experience is expressing and which divine assignment's out of alignment, but you also know what your truth is, and you know how to get back into alignment with it exactly. And so this whole Human Being User Manual literally becomes the map, but there is an additional component to it called Soul Healing Protocol. So for anyone who has physical ailments or disease and dysfunction that's diagnosed, or has had a timeline of actual physical or generational trauma, I do what's called Soul Healing Protocol. And in it, it's 6 one-on-one sessions before we channel your Human Being User Manual, where we deprogram the surface and the root of generational trauma. So we heal in total 5 generations. So if it was Raina, it would be herself, her the eggs that are inside of her, whether she has children or not. So her children, herself, her parents, her grandparents, or her great-grandparents. For someone who has grandchildren, it would be healing the great-grandchildren, which are unborn but exist as sperm and egg in their grandchildren, their children themselves, and their parents. So in this generational trauma, we heal up to 5 generations surface and root, but then we heal the habits and the beliefs that have gotten you into that disease and dysfunction, into that broken timeline, and then we put you back on your timeline. In both Soul Healing Protocol and Human Being User Manual, we then reprogram your power energy. So for example, my power energy is abundance. My purpose on this planet is to create, to maintain, and to teach abundance. And that's what I do, which is so magical. So in Earth School, there are 12 lessons. Self is physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and character. So in the Human Being User Manual, I've reprogrammed abundance into my physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and character as my perspective. In others, influential others, is our intimate love, our parent-child, and our social relationships. I've reprogrammed abundance as my perspective in those areas. And then we reprogram life, career, finances, quality of life, vision for the future. So for me, I have programmed my perspective of career, finances, quality of life, and vision for the future as abundance. And then that becomes my reality. It's the coolest shit ever. Ever! If I'm continuing to toot my own horn. Yeah. So cool.
Well, you can. And also there are thousands of people that are also tooting that horn who have participated in this.
So I stopped counting in December of 2021. But in December of 2021, my big, hairy, audacious goal in 2015 was to get to 7,000 people. And before we had COVID bring everything online, in 2021, December of 2021, I had reached my goal of 7,000 people. So I can only imagine how many people it is now, and I'd have to get someone to run a report to figure that out. But this is my only purpose. I teach, I treat, I channel, and I create.
She's legit not kidding.
Legit.
Are you cool staying on for Q&A, or do you have anywhere to be at 11:30, or are you?
No, I'm good. And I need to be with Julia at 12, but I'm pretty sure that she's here and would give me any leeway I needed to.
Raina, are you good? Do you want to step out, or are you happy to hang out?
I'm cool to hang out.
Okay, cool. Traci, 3 more questions. What is the youngest that you will do a reading for?
Yeah, that's a great question. And let me, as always, have a big explanation. From 0 to approximately 5 years old, they already know. They have not forgotten. So they are completely in alignment with their truth. Between 4, 5, and 6, they start to be aware that they can chameleon and that it might be easier to please others. Between 7 and 12, they're making every possible mistake that they need to embrace their polarity. So their negative polarity is they're like, oh, and I'm not saying that they know this then, they don't, but oh, this is why I chose my biological parents. This is why I chose this timeline. This is why I made this my negative polarity. And they start to forget what their positive polarity is because they get so attached to that negative polarity, which is meant to be a trigger, literally, of an opportunity to learn to get back into their power. And so I do my best to honor over 14 because we want them to make as many of the mistakes as possible so that when I share with them what their power and trigger is, they're like, I already know that. Well, of course you do, Master, because you are the most incredible human being on this planet, and don't forget it. And so I like to let them get to at least 14. And also, at 14, they're either going to be not interested at all or they're going to be really interested. And that matters too. Now, often what I do is if I get energetic permission, I will often read children's fear stories. I don't do their divine assignment, and I don't do their whole human being user manual, but I will, for the parent, provide to them their fear story so that the parent knows how to communicate, to listen, and to experience that what that behavior really is. And if you are a self-mastery parent, then you know how to guide them without doing their work for them. And that's really important. As parents, you aren't here to do their work for them. You're here to bring them into the world and keep them safe.
I love that it really supports how, like you were describing, how you relate with Fred. You know how to communicate, how to express, how to listen, because you have awareness. There's a second question is there a situation where being a chameleon is a sign of mastery?
Oh, yeah. Yes. But getting there is a completely different process than saying, oh, I'm a chameleon. But yes, the mastery, and Raina's actually really good at this. She just gets stuck. The mastery is being able to energetically mimic who you're with needs you to be. So, for example, if I'm with Raina, and I know she's an egalitarian, when I go to do something, I'm going to explain it a little and I'm going to say, is that fair? Mm-hmm. And in that moment, she has permission to say, yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. Or, oh, I have a different way of perceiving it. And so when we chameleon as self-mastery, we don't become who they need us to be. We are very aware of what that energy looks and feels like. And so we become the teacher, and we allow them to be the student without it being like, you know, I grew up in a Catholic school, without being Catholic school taught. We mimic the energy that they need us to be without denying our truth. And it's grounded, open connected. So those of you who have been around me for a bit now, it's all about the take your power back. When you're grounded in your physical body, your biome is a strong magnetic force for energy, and you create on this physical reality. When your heart is open, your soul is actively engaged in Mother Earth and cosmic intelligence. And when your soul is able to communicate with ego, you become a channel of valuable information for yourself. We all have the ability to channel our own information. And some of us are gifted in being able to read the frequency and vibration of external ability as well. Did that even answer the question?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Thank you. Another question is, does the reading change with time, or do the core pieces remain?
The core pieces remain. They were created as you were cosmic intelligence. In the Soul Reveal reading container, there is a 38-minute video called The Divine Assignment, and it explains everything. But essentially, when you were cosmic intelligence, when you were piece of source, you chose this timeline for two reasons. You wanted to know yourself as an independent thought, feeling, and experiencing being, but also you knew there would be billions of others coming to this timeline, so you wanted to be able to navigate a specific assignment. We all came here to embody one thing, just one thing. And in the Human Being User Manual, you get the exact name of that one thing. I am abundant. Daniela, may I share yours?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you
can shockingly, Daniela is kindness. And so that's who she's here to be. It's the one thing. Everything that happens to, for, with, or around Daniela is for her to embody kindness, to be it for herself, but to emit it to the rest of the world. And that's what our power energy is all about. Yeah. Did I answer that question?
Yeah, of course. Plus 100 other questions we didn't know we had yet. We did know we just hadn't gotten there yet, which is awesome. Friends, are there any other questions? Nancy, I do see your question, and Traci's email is Traci. What is your email?
Oh, Traci, Traci, at tracitrimble.ca. And please just call me Traci. Yeah, I love that.
So Nancy, please send another email. Nancy had a question about a session appointment. And sometimes I, out of habit, will do the .com at the end, and it isn't. So just check the email address that you to.
Yeah, sorry, Nancy, that is not acceptable. So 11 a.m. Central would be 10 a.m. So here's a challenge with that. I have a 10 a.m. I have a client that I see every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. and I have for years. So my 10 a.m. is always booked. I'm not sure how that happened. But Nancy, I'm going to get you to do two things. When you send that email to Traci at tracitrimble.ca, also send it to support at tracitrimble.ca, because Jay will figure out what happened, but I will be able to take some response to that as well. And I'm sorry that happened.
Brandy, thank you, Traci. Brandy has a question. Does the Soul Reveal reading help with what abilities we have and how to tune into them?
100%. So as if you were at the beginning, you may have noticed when I went into Raina's energy, the first thing I do is I check for entities, attachments, and non-beneficial energies. If I need to clear them, I do. But then I bring your energy, your biofield, into what's called Hanshaze Shonen. So I'm working in a no space, no time. And so what happens is, and I'm actually mostly really good at staying in the Human Being User Manual, but what happens is when I get in your energy, I recognize empaths and channels. So if you are an empath or a channel at that frequency and vibration level, I will share that with you. Many people can have psychic gifts, can be mediums, can learn shamanic traditions, but that isn't what they're here for. And so if you're here to be a channel or to use your empathic gifts to be part of the solution, then I'm definitely going to share that with you and teach a little lesson on what those things are. If I don't share that with you, and at the end you want to know how to use the gifts that you've learned in alignment with your divine assignment and for your stories, 100% I will be able to teach you how to do that. And in that case, I highly recommend that you do join my complimentary private Facebook group called Human Being User Manual. It's on Facebook right now, but we plan to move to Mighty Network in the fall. Because I do a lesson every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on how to literally use your divine assignment and your fear stories. But there are tons of recorded pieces, and one of those is a whole hour on your sacred guides. One of those is what it means to be an empath or a channel. This week I did using your script in real life. So yeah, it's very valuable. For $179, you're getting what used to be a $999 program, and you're getting it for $179. And if you are an Astara paid member, you're getting it for $79. Like it's actually, even every time I say it, I'm like, why are we doing that again? And everyone, my guides, Christopher and Daniel, are like, because that's why we're here. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. That totally makes sense now. Okay, I remember. Keep reminding me. Yeah. So yeah. What used to be almost $10,000, we're doing for less than $2 now, which is just incredible. So grateful. I'm so grateful that we can be in a place to do all that.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Traci. Yeah, Garena, go ahead.
Traci, how long do people generally work with you in your programs?
So because I allow it to be self-directed and it's lifetime access, you can be with me as long as I have people. So I've been doing this since 2015, and I have people who come to the weekly coaching call every week and have been coming from the beginning. I have some people who decide to do the attunement process on their own, and they email me every now and then. If you do Human Being User Manual, I recommend that it's going to be 18 weeks, and you get a coaching call for 18 weeks. If you do Soul Healing Protocol, it's 24 weeks because we have 6 live one-on-one sessions, and that includes a lifetime coaching call. Yeah. So it depends on the person. Male masculine energy often likes to do things off by themselves and just check in with me when they need it or book one-on-one appointments. For example, my 10 a.m. every Tuesday and Thursday morning, we've been doing that since maybe 2013. But that's a part of what she wants to do. When she first came to see me, she had stage 4 cancer, and they told her it would be 5 or 6 months that she had left. And so that's what we focus on. Every Tuesday, we do energy medicine to clear and attune her body. And every Thursday, we do self-mastery work based on the cosmic cycle we're in. So, for example, we're in May right now, so we're working in character. And so the whole month of May, we clear the body of any blocks to self-love, and we amplify her power energy so that she aligns to her character. And I've offered many times to say, once a month, no way, man. That date and that time is mine. And even when I'm on holidays, she tends to go to one of my other practitioners.
Wow.
Yeah. So it really depends. It could be a lifetime. It could be 18 weeks. It's whatever you need. And I'm always going to be here. My husband jokes, he retired when did he retire? Like 2022. And he's like, when are you retiring? And I'm like, well, probably at 98, because I'd like 2 years of doing nothing before I hear. And so that's my truth. As long as I'm teaching, treating, and channeling, I don't work a day in my life.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so cool.
Friends, I'm going to share a link right now because there is an upcoming opportunity in January, upcoming January.
Yeah.
At the end of January to join Traci,
Mhm.
Christopher, and myself in Costa Rica for an incredible self-love retreat. So imagine Qigong at sunset and sunrise, on the beach, and curriculum and learning with Traci. It's really going to be incredible. So I just shared the link there if you'd like to explore. Space is limited, so we really encourage you to see if that piques your interest, to reach out to us, because I believe the early bird concludes June 1st.
Yeah. Yeah. While this 6-day, 5-night event is going to be in one of the most magical physical places on this planet, we're going to have fun. We're focused on having fun. But in one of those days, we're going to do deep, deep energy work. And we're going to use my self-love protocol. So for everyone, I'll do a full reading from your soul, asking where you're blocked in standing firm in your self-love. And so you'll know where that is in your body. And over the whole week, while you're having fun, my work is going to be clearing that block and reprogramming your biofield to a higher frequency. So there will be one day of actual, you'll get your letter, we'll do a deprogramming session, a reprogramming session, and we'll fast for that day. But then the rest of the time, that energy work is going to be happening. So your frequency and vibration will be completely different. And when you rise home, you're going to change the frequency and vibration of the world around you. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
Wow.
I cannot wait. Yeah.
All right, friends. Well, Raina, thank you so much. What a blast. Thank you, friends, for joining us this morning live. Thank you for those of you enjoying this on replay. And Traci, thank you so much for your years of dedication. Thank you for the curriculum that you have lived and traversed, and for bringing this healing work to so many of us. Just so grateful, so grateful.
Well, thank you to Laura for giving us this space and this opportunity. And thank you to you and Christopher for really helping me get focused. I appreciate that so
fun.
much.
So fun.
So fun.
We're all in this together.
I want to thank Julia too for making my life easy and better. Julia is our
angel.
She is our angel. She has this really cool. She is the client journey advocate. Isn't that the coolest? I'm like, hey, dude, what do you do? And she's like, I'm the client journey advocate. And I'm like,
oh, that's exactly it. She's incredible.
Yeah. So she's my work rock, and Fred's my life rock. So thank you, Jill.
Oh.
So cool.
Everyone, enjoy this precious day. Go outside. Connect with some beauty.
Yeah.
And we love you. And we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be here with Lauren Roche. He'll be diving into a little bit more about the Radiant Sutras. Wait, friends, give me just a moment to check the Astara calendar. One moment. I just want to make sure I'm not announcing anything that's happening today. And loading. Here we go. Friday morning, 9:30 is I think the 5th day of the Magical Alchemy Adventure with Tara Franklin. Very dense, fun, uplifting Kundalini practice. Anybody can do, standing, seated. Clear your field, raise your vibration. So that's with Tara. Kaya at 10:30, and for her daily activation. And that's what we have happening. So enjoy, friends.
Can I share one last thing before we disconnect? And I meant to do it at the beginning.
Of course.
Today is a collectively magical day. This is the Sagittarius full moon. This is where we literally tip out of the last 6,000 years of what has been created, and we gently flow into the next 6,000 years of magic, a new shift in awareness. And so what we are creating today and moving forward is literally magic in every single form. And so please know your purpose, be in alignment with your truth, and more than anything, love yourself.
Raina, no pressure. Do you have a Sabian symbol for us for today? And it's also the first of Sagadawa, which amplifies the energy of our way of being, which is a celebration of the Buddha's enlightenment. And so this is a very potent month. Do you have a symbol for us today, Raina? No pressure.
Yeah, right now is fireflies converge in magical formations.
Right?
I love that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I know that we took a lot of time today, and I'm grateful for those of you able to stay, and hopefully you can catch the replay.
Bye, everyone. Raina, Traci, stay on for a moment, okay?
Okay.
See you all soon. Bye.